What's up, everyone? Welcome to week 3 of the quarantine WODs. Monday, kicking things off right with 100 burpees over an object 4 times. So this has been kind of a popular challenge especially with the onset of the whole world going into these at-home workouts. Lots of really popular CrossFitters are doing the same exact challenge, and basically it is you do 100 burpees over an object. It could be any object that you want to make it. Use your imagination, get creative with it. For our challenge stuff, we're doing bonus points for difficulty as well as bonus points for humor. So if you find something very humorous to jump over, awesome, you might get a bonus point. If you find something to jump over that makes it very difficult, you might get a bonus point. Examples: a fence. It would be brutal. And, depending on the size of the fence, right? So that might be an option. The other thing is like a couch or this counter, right? There's ways to create an object to get over. Basically, that's all it is. If you're not in the mood to be creative or whatever, you're just trying to get a good workout in, I suggest that you pick something that's about 9 inches tall and not super wide, so you can go kind of like as if it's like a burpee over a bar. All right, so that would be my recommendation. But that's the main piece of the workout. That's the 4 times scored portion of the workout. I recommend that you nasal breathe the whole time because that's going to increase your respiratory system's ability to tolerate CO2 and utilize oxygen. All right, let's go into the full day. Here we got the warm-up. You got 3 rounds of 5 inchworms, 10 plank shoulder taps, 10 single leg deadlifts, and 3 knee jumps. So with inchworms, remember that you're trying to open up that posterior chain at the same time as you are in that kind of stressed out position on the core and shoulders. And then you go into plank shoulder taps. You specifically are stressing the core. When you do plank shoulder taps, I don't want to see the frantic tap and come back as fast as you can. It should be a very slow, controlled movement, focusing on keeping your hips stable and facing the floor. And then you go into your single leg deadlift. Kind of the same thing there. We want your hips stable and facing the floor while the back leg comes back, and keeping your back really flat. You can weight it if you want, but you don't need to. Point of that one is definitely feel it in the hamstring. Next up, you got the knee jumps. You're going to be jumping from your knees onto your feet. If you struggle with knee jumps, you could jump off of an elevated surface. So sometimes a little elevated surface is enough, but if you lack ability there, all you need to do for scaling is just jump. Just go squat, jump explosively. Okay, you could even turn it into a bound, jump forward as far as you can. Your creativity, it needs to be an explosive hip movement there. All right, up next we go into our throws workout. The throws workout ideally would be done in an outdoor area so that you can do your 3 granny shots where you're using a lighter object and throwing it as far as you possibly can behind you from a hinged position. The concept is to go from a hinged position, not a squat position. That'll be your tendency. All right, so try to make sure that you guys are loading your posterior chain by hinging, almost like a good morning or a deadlift, and then whipping that ball behind you. Once that all 3 balls or tosses have been thrown, you will lunge to them and repeat. So that's all you're doing back and forth for 10 minutes is just lunging to the balls. You never walk, you're always lunging. And then once you have the balls, you throw them overhead again. If you're doing the makeshift version of that, you can do a deadlift. You can use any object you want. I use a backpack in the video, but you can use an actual barbell if you have one. Does not really matter, but the point is to be explosive. So hinge into that bottom position, nice control, snap that hip open. All right, so that's the makeshift deadlift with the explosive extension. And then you'll just do as many reverse lunges as possible, and you're turning this workout so that it could be stationary and indoors into a EMOM. So on the minute, you'll do 3 of those explosive deadlifts and then fill the remainder of that minute with as many reverse lunges or stationary lunges as you can. And then you're back to the top of the next minute, 3 deadlifts, back into that. All right, so that's the makeshift version. Either way, it takes 10 minutes. Finally, go into the burpee challenge. We already discussed that quite a bit. 100 burpees over an object, and it's 4 times. Bonus points for difficulty or humor. We already talked a little bit about that. Lastly, we got your cool down and accessory stuff. We got shovel deadlifts. You're actually going to take a real shovel You're going to load it by scooping something with it. You can use your imagination. If you have a bed of rocks, I recommend that because it's easiest. If you use a snow shovel, you can get the most load out of it. If you use a dirt shovel, you get lighter load. So it's totally up to you. I would recommend keeping it more of a Romanian style deadlift and really focus on keeping yourself level, right? So the whole challenge is it's going to be weighted more on one side, and that's by intention. That's why you do 10 on one side and then 10 on the other side. So that's the shovel deadlift. It's a really great movement. Move very slowly and methodically through it so that you can really feel it. You should feel those hamstrings light up especially. Back stays really flat, all right? And then lastly is the flutter kicks. You're going to get into a hollow position and basically kick your feet in about a 6-inch range of motion. Don't go super long range of motion with that. Just keep it real small. Point your toes, make it look pretty. And if you guys have any questions, as always, just reach out. Hope you're enjoying the quarantine workouts. As we get deeper into this, we might be changing up some of the options of things that we're using. So stay tuned for that stuff later.